Hey there, my name is Josh Lefebvre, and I run LefeWare Solutions, a technology solutions firm based out of Houston, Texas. At LefeWare Solutions, we use the power of cloud, data, AI, and software to help our clients reduce their risk, improve operational efficiencies, and increase their revenue. So most of us are familiar with popular large language models like, say, ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. And if you're like me, you've likely been using these tools daily for tasks at work. I personally use it to create marketing material and copy for my business. And sometimes I even ask it technical questions. But I always make sure to fact check my responses when using a public LLM. But here's what you might not realize. Everything you input into these public models is essentially shared with the model provider, which means you might unknowingly be exposing confidential information. Oh, and another thing, public LLMs are by definition only trained on publicly available data, and sometimes very poorly at that. So often when asking them about very specific topics that you wouldn't be able to find just by doing Google searches, they lack the proper context to provide highly accurate results, and sometimes just straight up hallucinate and make up a fake response, which I definitely don't think you want when you're working on something very important. If your organization relies on secure, accurate information, as should any organization, it's time to consider setting up your own private large language model. And in this video, I'll do just that. So how can you set up your very own private LLM? Well, fortunately for you, the combination of cloud platforms and building on top of existing pre-trained LLMs like, say, OpenAI's GPT or Meta's open source Llama are making this easier and more secure than ever. Today, there's actually 3 options for creating your own private LLM, going from most customizable and most setup to least customizable and easiest setup. Option 1, open source models on private infrastructure. If you're going for maximum security and flexibility, hosting an open source model like, say, Meta's Llama 2 on your own private infrastructure is often your best choice. While the setup is obviously going to take longer and it requires deep technical expertise, this approach grants you complete control over data handling and model customization. You should use this option if, let's say, your team has deep technical expertise, specifically around infrastructure. Also, your business prioritizes data privacy and complete ownership of the model. And if you require an extremely high level of accuracy in your responses. Option 2, cloud platforms. Using cloud-based platforms like, say, Microsoft's Azure OpenAI or Google's Vertex AI or even AWS Bedrock offer a much quicker setup with enterprise-level security. And usually they have some kind of GUI-based sandbox studio where you can go in, you can actually test things out. These platforms would actually abstract away most of the underlying infrastructure, providing you with a quick and easy setup. You should use this option if you have some technical expertise on your team. You want a strong balance between ease of setup, security, and flexibility, and you trust this cloud provider to safeguard your data privacy. And the last option is basically it's an out-of-the-box SaaS-based generative AI solution builder. This would offer the quickest and simplest setup with model selection largely handled for you, so you don't have to worry about that. These platforms would be designed with intuitive user interfaces and advanced support to get your organization up and running with an LLM, a private LLM, as quick and as seamless as possible. One platform that I recommend quite frequently to my clients, it's called Jenny by NeuralHive. It's a reliable choice for teams who have minimal technical expertise, but they still need that data security and they need guaranteed compliance within their industry. So you should use this option if you want to get, as I said, set up quickly as possible, and if your team has minimal technical knowledge. Okay, so you've deployed your own private large language model, and now you can finally prompt it securely. But as soon as you start asking it highly specific questions, especially about niche details not available on the public internet, the answers start falling short of your expectations. I'm sure we've all experienced this at one point or another. Well, with a private LLM, you can train it using your own data by securely feeding it in, say, your company's documents, your emails, knowledge bases, or any other valuable internal data. The goal would be to ensure that the model understands your specific context, any industry jargon, or unique business processes. Again, that would not be available on the public internet. So there's actually 2 strategies when it comes to customizing LLMs. The first one is retrieval augmented generation. or RAG for short. This model would pull in relevant documents from external sources and then feed them into the model as it actually answers questions, basically adding extra context in real time. If you've ever used ChatGPT and then you've uploaded, say, a Word document and then prompted it on that specific document, that's essentially RAG. And that's what we would be doing in this case. But again, with a private LLM, we would be responsible for actually uploading all these documents beforehand. So that's when somebody goes in and asks very specific questions about your business, it already has that context in place. We're doing the uploading for you. I'll actually do a short demo on this in the next section. And the other option we have is something called fine-tuning. This is a very powerful approach where we actually retrain sections of the underlying model to basically to integrate like very specific data sets into that existing model. This works best if your business requires like a high degree of specialization. Now, obviously, it requires a lot more computational power and expertise, but in the long term, it pays off with very accurate responses. All right, so I wanted to give a quick demo of one of the private LLM solutions that I prefer when setting something up for a client. Because I am somewhat technical, I prefer to use Azure OpenAI. And as you can see in front of me here, I have the Azure OpenAI Studio. This can be set up directly by going to the Azure portal and then creating a new Azure OpenAI instance. From that instance, you can then navigate into the studio that you see in front of me here. So on the left-hand side, we have several different items we can choose from. We have the actual model catalog here in front of me, which is I have various different GPT models, as well as DALL-E models, text embedding models. Again, due to the partnership between OpenAI and Azure, it only makes sense that they have all of these different GPT models listed here. So you can go in and you can deploy any one of these models as your base. I have actually gone ahead and I've deployed a GPT model as well as a text embedding model here. And then, of course, you also have the option of fine-tuning your model or just using simple RAG or retrieval augmented generation. So in order to demo, I just set up a GPT model, custom GPT model here, and then I'm going to actually add in some data. So I've already taken the liberty of going in and setting up an Azure storage account where I've been uploading different PDFs and Word documents. So yeah, I have my storage account here. And if I go to the storage browser, I have a blob container. I set up one here called LefeWare Associations. And under there, I have various different documents. I have some documents as well as a PDF here. And that is going to be the basis of the data that I'll upload to essentially train my model on these documents. Okay, so going back here, I want to now add that data as part of the context. So I'll go to add data source. I'll select my blob storage here, my subscription, again, staging. I'll select the container that I just mentioned, so Consultation Solutions. And then we also have to set up an Azure AI search resource. I'll link to some reading material on that, maybe in the description below. All right, so my data has been uploaded, as you can see here, and now it's part of the actual context from my chat window, as well as I've given it some specific instructions here. So now whenever we query our data, so I've created a query here, it says, what is the value proposition of LW Association Solutions? And as I mentioned, none of those documents that I uploaded to my blob storage are available over the public internet. So let's see what this yields. All right, so here, again, it actually gives me the value proposition of my company, LW Association Solutions. Basically, it's a subsidiary of LefeWare Solutions, geared at members associations, and it talks about the different services that we actually offer them. And here it actually references the documents from which it got the information from. So It was able to grab all this information securely through my blob storage. I was able to prompt it and ensure that nothing was exposed. Another thing I wanted to mention here is, as you can see, I'm using GPT-3.5. Whenever I did try to prompt with GPT-4, I actually hit my token quota limit. I am on East US and the quotas are extremely low in that particular region. You can obviously request additional tokens, but there is a process involved. So for those of you who are just testing things out, I would suggest using a different region. So companies looking to harness the power of AI while protecting their data have plenty of options to choose from. However, no matter which route you choose for your private LLM, there's going to be setup involved, and it can feel like a lot to handle without the right expertise. That's where we come in at LefeWare Solutions. We're technical experts. Our team is packed with skilled engineers who know how to make this process as smooth, efficient, and secure as possible. Also, we're always looking for innovative app ideas. So if you have an idea, or if you're just curious about where AI could take your business, click the link in the description below. It'll take you to a landing page where you can share a few quick details. Let's talk, let's brainstorm, and let's make it happen. Don't wait. AI is here. It's more affordable than ever, and there's no better time to get started. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in our next video.